Marco. My name is Zach, and we're here for the Smackdown Survey for November 14th, 2017. This is the go-home show for Survivor Series, and we're on the heels of a really good Raw. If you haven't checked out the Raw Rundown, do that because I agree it was a fantastic Raw, and this was a really good Smackdown, actually, and I was really surprised because we've had a series of bad Smackdowns, and I guess you've had a couple of bad Raws lately, but mostly Smackdown has been pretty bad, and I was hoping that they would be able to hype up Survivor Series really well, and there are some places where I feel like they failed to do that, but we'll get to those points, but we're going to go through SmackDown and give the good parts an up and the bad parts a down. And this is just my opinion and my kind of review of the show. But again, overall, I enjoyed the SmackDown, and I'm looking forward to Survivor Series. But we start off SmackDown with Shane McMahon giving a pep talk to the SmackDown roster. And he continues to hype up Survivor Series by saying, like, this is the one night a year where Raw and SmackDown go to head-to-head in competition, whatever. Like, stupid. Like, we don't need to be reminded every instance. And I'm really tired of hearing him say that, to be honest. And the pep talk really, like, I mean, I found it, like, good in a way, in a sense. But, like, there was a mention of John Cena, but John Cena wasn't there. And we didn't see John Cena tonight. And so he contributes to this segment getting a down. Because I feel like if you're going to pep talk, you need to at least be able to say, like, because he did point out, like, Baron Corbin and Sin Cara, he pointed out the New Day, he pointed out Becky Lynch, and, like, pep talking them, but, like, whenever you had the Raws or the SmackDown actual team, there was no talk about it, except for John Cena. And then even when they mentioned John Cena, he's not there. So all around, segment wasn't like outstanding to me, and I'm just gonna give it a down because apparently that's how we start off SmackDown every week. But we go into a promo with Daniel Bryan. He's out there and he's talking about the things that have happened in the past weeks on Raw. And then AJ Styles comes out. And what's interesting about this is Daniel Bryan asks AJ Styles if he wants an advocate, kind of like Brock Lesnar has an advocate. And at first I was like, man, this is going to get it down because I gave the Singh brothers down simply for mocking Heyman, but they did it awfully, and of course they did it awfully. Daniel Bryan wasn't that bad, actually, and he didn't, like, attempt to mock everything that Heyman says. He just mocked, like, the intro that Heyman does, and then retaliated Heyman's points. And I think it was very well done, and it very much hyped up AJ Styles. My only problem with it was he kept talking about the mental capacity about the match. He talked about the mental sort of work that goes into it. But what about physical? Like, this is a wrestling match. Not everything is mental. A lot of it is mental, but not everything is mental. And Brock Lesnar, I'm not sure can go like longer physically than AJ Styles, but at the same time, like, if AJ Styles isn't careful, Brock Lesnar can get the upper hand and will defeat him on Sunday if all he uses is his mental powers. Just saying, it doesn't work like that. We're not Jedis. But overall, the segment came off really good. I want to give a special up to AJ Styles being the WWE champion because, man, it's nice to have, especially after several months of that terrible reign. I'm not even going to talk about it, but it was nice to see him come out and get cheered out the roof. It was awesome. I love AJ Styles, and I'm so glad he's champion. I'm so glad he's facing Brock Lesnar. I'm really hoping they do him right this Sunday. I really hope they do the match right. But he gets his own special up. But the segment also gets an up because, like I said, it did hype up that match really well for this Sunday. Makes me more excited to see it, and it makes me wonder if they're going to have AJ either beat Lesnar or look like a credible threat to Lesnar. So we'll see about that. The first match of the night that we'll talk about is Baron Corbin defending his United States Championship against Sin Cara. And the winner would go on to obviously face The Miz at Survivor Series. This match wasn't terrible like it has been. Okay? It wasn't like that awful. There was some good back and forth action. I think that I don't really know because the Miz has been losing recently, and I was gonna say that like you shouldn't have Baron Corbin lose, especially against someone as small as Sin Cara and whatever you want one of them to be look dominating, um, but so I mean I don't know. I think Baron Corbin should have been more dominating, and in all honesty. But at the same time, Miz has been losing, and I am looking forward to Miz beating Corbin Sunday, just because I don't want Corbin to win. Whether or not I actually believe he will, it's another story. You'll see in our prediction video. But Corbin is just like, I don't know. The match wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't terrible. I'm still gonna give it a down because did not interest me. Don't care about these two. Don't care about Corbin. Don't care about the United States Championship at the moment because it's with Corbin. So it's getting it down for me. But then we have back-to-back championship matches, which is kind of weird. We have Natalya defending her women's championship against Charlotte, and this was a really good match. And I'm surprised at saying that. I don't think I've given an up to a women's match in a while. I don't keep up with it as closely, but they are kind of lacking on SmackDown, and this one was really good. And it saw Charlotte lock on the figure eight, which is still dumb. Especially when they're like, she gets on the figure four, and they're like, "Can she transition? Can she transition?" Like, it's the same freaking move, except she's just different. But yeah, it saw her lock on the figure eight and submit Natalya to win the championship, and she goes on to face Alexa Bliss at Survivor Series. Now, one thing that's interesting about this that I didn't even realize until the end of the night, but Parker and I were both thinking that they were going to just have Natalya and Charlotte swap if Charlotte won, which we both really thought Charlotte would win, obviously. But we thought they would just have them swap, and then Natalya would be on the women's team. But that's not the case. At least not confirmed, because by the end of the night, I saw it, on whenever they actually had the little graphic up, they had the question mark for the fifth member. And so I was wondering, I was like, okay, so is Natalya not that person? Because, we just thought it was. But, that makes me interested to see what they're going to do there. I wonder if Nikki Bella returns or if Brie Bella or whatever. I don't think Brie would come that soon. But anyway, altogether, this match was really good. I'm glad that Charlotte won. I'm glad we're going to have Charlotte versus Alexa because just like the Lesnar match, it's going to make the match a little better and a little more hype and anticipated. And so far, the card is starting to get better. And only a week before, but it's getting to look better. The Bludgeon Brothers. Good news, I guess. I don't know. I don't really consider it great news. But we're going to finally see if they can turn this down streak to an up. Because I'll explain real quick why I keep giving it downs. Because honestly, like, they've been repackaged a million times and they can never be their own single star. I think Luke Harper should have had a better run as a single star. He is much more talented in the ring, and I think he was developing himself on the mic pretty well. But he didn't need that because, he just needed that mystery about him, I think. But you also have, out of any other name, you pick Bludgeon Brothers. It's just kind of a weird name for me. But they keep doing these little short video packages of them, and it doesn't really hype me for anything because we still see them as jobbers, Vince. They're still jobbers. Sorry to say. But this is not getting me excited for them to come back as a dominating tag team and to just destroy everyone like they say they are. But they are debuting next week. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm sure for the first few weeks they'll be dominating, and then they'll just go back to being jobbers and then have to be repackaged again. I just don't like the idea. But that's just me. But we're going to move on to Chad Gable versus Jimmy Uso. And this match was really, it was actually pretty short, I think. I don't exactly know the match length, but it seemed like it was really short. And you had Shelton Benjamin and Jey Uso on the outside, of course, doing their own thing. And one interesting thing about this was, why is it that Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable keep like doing heel tactics. Like they're not full on doing heel stuff, but they're doing some small heel tactics here and there that are obviously contrary to their being face. And I wonder if it's just as a way of saying, well, we're just going to fight fire with fire because we know the Usos are going to be heels, so we need to just do heel moves too, try to get away with things. But Shelton Benjamin tried to distract. Maybe he wasn't trying to distract. I think he was trying to distract Jimmy. I don't think he was trying to distract Jay, because then that wouldn't be much of a problem if he was trying to distract the other person on the outside. But I do think it was Jimmy. I don't know about that, but still yet. Then last week they pulled a heel tactic. Can't remember exactly what it was, but either way, this was a singles match. It was some good back and forth action. Of course, Jimmy got the win. I didn't expect anything else because you want to hype the Usos up for their match against the Bar Sunday, and even though they could, I don't really think that they could get away with losing and then look credible for their match Sunday. But I'm glad they won. A really good match for me. So I'm gonna give this an up. And the last match of the night, which did not get finished, unfortunately, was the New Day, which I believe were represented by not Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods and Big E. Those two up against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And again, a really good match, a really great way to sort of end the night of matches. And you saw really good action. These four, and I guess Kofi as well, but he wasn't really that involved. But these four are very talented in what they do. We saw flips over the rope. We saw suicide dives. We saw reversals. We saw tag team moves, and it was really good. They all have chemistry. But then that match, even though it didn't finish, even though I mean, I guess that's all I have against it. I'm going to give the match an up. But then we have a part where I think Woods jumps over the rope to the outside and hits Kevin Owens, and we have Sami Zayn and Big E in the ring, and suddenly we hear Sierra Hotel India Lima Delta, whatever, Echo. And so the Shield make their entrance. And of course, we've been waiting for this. Everyone anticipated that it would be tonight, that they would do it. And so they did. They came to the ring, and Zayn and Owens, of course, they cowered out. And they ran to the back, or did whatever. They hid. And left the New Day to be basically killed. It was nice to see the Shield as a trio using this pack mentality again, because I always liked it in their first run whenever they would surround the ring and they would have someone or some people inside, and they would act like a pack of wolves like that, and they would just be absolutely clobbering, and it was nice to see this happening. And then, of course, you have some of the SmackDown coming out to help the New Day, then you have some of Raw coming out to help them, and eventually you just have this whole mess. You have the women in the back. They took out the SmackDown live women's locker room, and that was all right. But then in the ring you had the Shield triple power bombing Shane McMahon, and then Kurt Angle yelling at Shane and then giving him an angle slam, and then another triple power bomb to Shane. I thought this was fantastic. I thought it was great. It does make SmackDown kind of like the B show, because they kind of showed SmackDown up, and I really, if you I can't. I think I'm pretty sure I did the review for the Under Siege Raw, but I really liked that. And so to say that something was better it's a reach. It must be saying something because I really liked both of them. I liked Raw's Under Siege a lot better. Mainly because they went after the captain and actually did something to the captain other than bring him out and just embarrass him. They put a couple, and we saw Kurt Angle get into kind of physical altercation as well, even with just an angle slam. I love that Braun came out and just started killing everyone. So yeah, altogether, really good hype of Survivor Series, really good go-home show, really fantastic job to SmackDown for sending us off into Survivor Series, making us anticipated for it. I'm looking forward to the matches, and I'll be interested to see where it takes us from to next SmackDown. Will SmackDown be victorious this Sunday? Will Raw be victorious? What will SmackDown do? And of course, I feel like Survivor Series after Survivor Series is gonna be like, all right, well, whatever, and then go on with their own storylines. But it's whatever. I'll be here next week. Just check us out. Parker will be here for the Raw Rundown next week. We are, in fact, watching a Survivor Series this weekend. Well, actually, it'll be Monday before we can actually get to because of schedules. But we will watch it as soon as we can. We'll get our reactions and our aftermath up for that. And our predictions are going up probably tomorrow or Friday. And yeah, if you want to stay tuned and keep up with our content, hit that subscribe button, get notifications when we upload. And if you like this video, hit that like button. If you disagree with what I said, or you really agree, or maybe I missed something on this week's episode that you would like to give your input, just put that in the comments below. We would love to hear from you guys. We would love to hear from anyone who views our videos. But that's all I have for the SmackDown this week. Check us out for Survivor Series and for next week. We'll see you later. Peace.